Primetime. Big names needing to make a big statement in Week 3. Randy Moss against T.O. No brotherly love in Philly. A bum-leg kicker would steal the show. Big Ben looking to beat the Pats this time, but would he get hurt? We know it was tough. Brett Favre, Pat, can they avoid 0-3? Can anything keep Michael Vick down? Number 7 leading a stampede in Buffalo. No TDs, but another trip to the record book for Manning and Harrison. Indy looks good. The Battle of Marshall QBs and OT heartbreaker in the Meadowlands. All that and more on NFL Primetime.
Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Week 3 of NFL Primetime. Chris Berman along with Tom Jackson. It didn't take long, Tom. Let's see, after only 2 weeks, just left with 7 2-0s.
That's right.
And 7 0-2s. Everybody else middle of the pack. But a couple who could distance themselves and maybe make a mark in September.
Yeah, you're trying to get to Detroit, and after this week, basically, for most teams, a fifth of the season will have been played.
Well, and one team that certainly didn't want to start 0-3 would be the Packers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a chance to start 3-0. They are showing off their rookie running back in the renewal of the Bay of Pigs. That would be Cadillac Williams. And then Brian Griese finds Joey Galloway for a touchdown. And the Bucs lead at Lambeau, where they have not won since 1989, 7-0.
Yeah, and take another look at this play. Brian Griese, a great job of attacking the line of scrimmage, forced the corner to come up and cover him, dump the ball right over him to Joey Galloway.
All right, and so down 7-0 Favre. There we go. Favre to Robert Ferguson. He's all excited. 5 plays, 80 yards. Ryan Law. What? That's not even wide left. That's low left. His first extra point miss in 157 tries would have come back to haunt them. Cadillac. Look they often call him Speedo, but his real name is Mr. Earl. 125 yards plus the first 2 games. What about today, Tom? But then here's Favre throwing a triple coverage.
Yeah, you know, Brett Favre, he's the gunslinger. Sometimes he completes that pass. Sometimes he doesn't. Today, a couple of too many of those kinds of passes.
Less than 10 minutes to go, Brian Griese drops back, and this is a superior pick by the Packers' Ahmed Carroll. And the first turnover of the year, Bucks. It sets up a field goal, 17-16. Just over 5 minutes to go. Favre deep to Ferguson, deflected, and for the second time today, Will Allen with the pick. Will Allen, the Bucks. Over 2 minutes to go. Huge 24-yard run. Woo. So smart. He stays in. We saw that
That's
later.
right.
The Packers had no timeouts the last couple of minutes, so every time Williams would gain more yards, he would stay inbounds. Brett Favre would never get the ball again. Cadillac Williams becomes the first running back ever to begin his career as a rookie with 3 straight 100-yard games. He breaks a mark that's been held since 1955 by the horse, Alan Amici. Cadillac 434 yards, Amici 410 in his first 3 games. The Packers 0-3 for the first time since 1988. And as we mentioned, it was the first loss for the Packers at home to Tampa Bay since 1989. So with all this going on, wow for Cadillac and for Brett Favre and the Packers. Just who knows? Extra point would have been made. It would have been different, but they just don't look like they have enough.
And you take a look at those final numbers that we saw. You know, you saw the great balance from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You did not see that from Green Bay. A lot of pressure on Brett Favre to have to do things to make them work. Early on in the game, late first quarter, this is a 4th and 5. He is outstanding with this throw. He spots it. The timing of it is great. Robert Ferguson with the touchdown. Things would change as we got to the second quarter. 1st and 10. Favre dropped back. He's going to see Jermaine Phillips right in his line of sight. Going to throw the ball back behind his receiver, Donald Driver. Brian Kelly. This ends up being a pretty easy pick. You know, take another look at it. Placement of the football, not exactly where he wanted. Second half now in the third quarter. 2nd and 8. He's going to drop back. You see Driver wide open. Brett never happens to look that way. Tries to go underneath. Ball dropped by Ferguson on the outside. So a combination of a lot of things. I think a few dropped balls, guys not in the right place, Brett not throwing the ball as well as he would like. and then no balance with the run game. So a lot of things affecting this football team, but at 0-3 you can see clearly this football team is not headed where they want to be.
Even though they're in a division where no one's going to be going 14-2, but
Gotta win
they haven't
some.
won a game
Gotta
at all.
win some.
And the Tampa Bay Bucks, did they pick the right year to be reunited with their old division, the NFC North division? They beat Minnesota on the road, beat Green Bay on the road. The Bucks are 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. When we return, the Raiders and the Eagles, McNabb, Moss, T.O., who would dance at the end of this close game? Can the Bucks and Bengals be 3-0?
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Great tasting, less filling. Miller, good call. And in part by Under Armour Performance Apparel. The advantage is undeniable. Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime. Cadillac Williams got the starting nod, as you've seen, big time for Tampa Bay, but his running mate at Auburn, Ronnie Brown, his first touchdown. He scores for Miami, and Miami leads Carolina. Second quarter, the Dolphins up 14-10. Gus Frerotte. How about Chris Chambers? Time has come today. Originally ruled down at the 1, but yet.
And Coach Saban challenges this call, claiming that Chambers never got touched. Take another look at it right here. You can see Chris Gamble never put a hand on him. Coach is going to win his challenge.
How about that? And you know what I like? Is that it gave us the time to really look at the one-handed catch a little closer. The heck with the challenge. So, the touchdown, it's 21-10. Ronnie Brown. Quick through the hole, Tom. It's going to be 58 yards.
Yeah, that combination of speed, power, hitting the hole. We see it from Cadillac Williams. We see it from Ronnie Brown. Both of them had that exact same explosion.
Plus, he started in foul ground and ended up in right field. It was a heck of a run. Mare's field goal makes it 24-17. Daylight come, and you got to Delhomme. You got to go to Steve Smith. What a day he had. 11 for 170 and 3 touchdowns. That one from Delhomme gets him in business. And so now we're tied at 24 all. They're like, uh-oh, you gotta go home. It's Lance Schulters. I know nothing. Sergeant Schulters takes it back to the 25. Delhomme didn't get enough on the pass, and Schulters read it the veteran.
Yeah, wide out running the slant, safety coming from inside out. Quarterback never sees him. Pretty easy pick.
And that sets up with 7 seconds to go. 32-yard field goal for Lindo Mare. Whoa. The Dolphins are 2-1. They've upset Carolina. They've already upset Denver at home, Tom. And the Dolphins beat the Panthers 27-24. Remember, they won only 4 games all of last year. And Ronnie Brown, his first 100-yard game, 132 yards, despite the heroics of Smith. Big win, Miami defense.
Yes, you have to admire the mentality of the Miami Dolphins and what Nick Saban has been able to do with that ball club in terms of turning them around and making them forget last year, play this year.
And, by the way, you'll talk about him later. Zach Thomas, what, 17 tackles
17
for Miami?
tackles.
Hello. Meanwhile, Carson Palmer. Carson and the Bengals trying to go 3-0 for the first time since 1990. Da-da-da-da-da. Here's Carson. He hits Chad Johnson for the Bengals get good. They get songs too, Tom. 7-0. And Chad Johnson dancing in the end zone. You say Hushman Zeta.
I say Hushman Zeta.
We say touchdown, flag on the play. And he said, wait a minute, what do you mean?
You know, Chad's going to be pretty upset after this play. It's him and Charles Tillman in the corner. And who's grabbing who on that play? And I'm sure that as you look at the sideline, that's what Chad is arguing. There was contact at both ends.
Well, Chad excitable. Marvin calms him down. And they get the field goal. Meanwhile, defense. Okay, last week, Cincinnati picked off Dante Culpepper 5 times against the rookie Kyle Orton. Picked off by Kewan Ratliff. In the second quarter, it's 10-0. Orton. And you know him, Pro Bowl with the long arms, that's Torrey James. Then later in the second quarter, Madio Williams playing center field. Look at me, I can play center field. 4 picks by the Bengals of Orton in the first half. Now, Chad Johnson said he had that checklist, right? All right. Look at the pitch to toss to Johnson. He loses a yard. He would limp and go into the locker room, but he would return. With all the picks and everything, it's just 17-7 until this. Chad Johnson, open from Carson Palmer, 40 yards, perfect throw.
Yeah, he made the corner, and perfect throw, but Chad made the corner whip at the line of scrimmage.
And the push-ups, well, he has fun. And so do the Bengals, the Cincinnati Bengals. For the first time since 1990, also the last time they made the playoffs, they're starting 3-0. They beat Chicago 24-7. 5 interceptions for the second straight week. No team has done that since the 1971 Cleveland Browns. And 16 turnovers for the Bengals, Tom. Meanwhile, for Kyle Orton, inside the numbers. For a rookie quarterback since the merger, only Jim Zorn, who was a good player, you played against him a lot.
That's right.
He had 6 as a rookie. Orton joins, well, Bledsoe, Grogan, pretty good names. So, Mama said there'd be days like this, but Tom, 12 picks by the Bengals?
Well, I think that when you talk about Marvin Lewis, that's what you're talking. Defense, forcing the turnovers. They have great balance offensively. I think when you look at the numbers, the 25 for 84 yards for Rudy Johnson, what you have there is a commitment to the running game, which protects Carson Palmer. He's got all the tools around him. It's going to be fun to watch. It's fun to watch this turnaround by the Bengals.
Again, we want to repeat. It took so long for Tony Dungy when they dug out with the Buccaneers and then established something.
Yes.
So 2 8-8 seasons, you're saying, well, no. That took a lot to go 8-8, right, for the Bengals?
Yeah.
And now you're seeing the fruits of the labor.
From loser to winner, the most difficult thing you have to do as a coach.
The Bengals are winning now. They're 3-0. When we return on the Week 3 of Sunday NFL Primetime, a thriller between the Patriots and the Steelers down to the wire in Pittsburgh, and Michael Vick. Hey, who Michael Vick? Yeah, that's what they said, but he looked pretty good either way. Involved
Inside the Numbers. Brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. With Visa, you're protected. The Fantasy Ticker. Brought to you by Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American Revolution.
And here we go with the Titans and the Rams. Jeff Fisher looking for win number 100. And but early on, despite a 10-0 lead, Steve McNair picked off by Adam Golden Archuleta. He'll have the fries. He'll have the pie with that burger. It's 85 yards. And the Rams are down 10-7. Now, Tom, here's what happened with Archuleta.
We're going to spot shadow Adam Archuleta for you. You see him reading the quarterback's eyes, make a good cut in front of a flat route, and once you pick that ball, you're on the sideline alone. You just hug the sideline, get to the end zone.
Down 10-0, the Rams in their home opener up 17-10, and then more. Mark Bolger to Torrey Holt, 32 yards, 24-10. Titans have scored to make it 24-17. Then Kyle Vanden Bosch has had some injuries. Picked up by Antoine Odom and rumbling, bumbling, stumbling for a touchdown. 24 all. And now we go to the fourth quarter. What a game this turned out to be. If I only could throw between 2 defenders to Kevin Curtis. Touchdown for Bolger, 31-24, St. Louis. Bolger tries to dump to Steven Jackson. Big play in the game. Peter Sherman is going to take a while to get to the left turn, but he's going to pick it up, and it's called a lateral. Live ball. He gets tackled. They get a field goal, but not before Mike Martz says, what do you mean? I'm challenging this.
You know, I would question the initial call that the ball was thrown backward. You certainly couldn't see that, and I think that Mike Martz had a pretty good argument there. But did you see anything that would overturn the call?
No. So they get a field goal out of it. Last gasp. It's out of bounds to Drew Brennett from McNair. And St. Louis, the only team that hadn't had a home game yet, they win it over Tennessee in a real entertaining game, 31-27, despite the fact that Ike Bruce limped off during the game. Bolger threw for 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. Tennessee, if they can weather this storm of some tough teams in September, they're going to be okay. Hey, St. Louis 2-1.
Yeah, that's all you say. They win.
And CBS reporting that Travis Henry will be out 4 games. The running back, Tennessee, due to substance abuse. We'll find out more tomorrow. Meanwhile, Mike Vick and the Atlanta Falcons. That's Dwayne Blakely trying to leap tall buildings with a single bound. The Falcons in Buffalo lead it 7-3. Vick to Brian Finneran, 17 yards. They're making acrobatic catches.
Yeah, and watch this catch. This is what Mike Vick needs, a receiver who's going to help him. Watch Finneran do a great job of getting both feet down right there. That is a beautiful, beautiful catch.
Willis McGahee, the workhorse for the Bills, held in check last week by Tampa Bay, but at home, look at him hit the hole and power, too. 21 yards for McGahee, and from the 80, caps it, and it's a touchdown. 13 Falcons lead. The Bills, I think they still miss those old Buffalo. First time they played in their real jerseys this year. Vic throws incomplete, but Takeo Spikes with an Achilles injury. We'll know more a little later, but he looked agonizingly in pain. That would be a big loss to Pro Bowl linebacker Buffalo. Warwick Dunn. And here's Terrence McGee. What? He gets turned every which way but loose. 59-yard gain by Dunn, who's not done until he gets almost to the goal line, sets up a field goal. 17-16. Falcons, 3rd and 10. And what about the new Mike Vick?
Well, we wondered if Mike Vick had this in his repertoire as he hit this game. Here he runs for 27 yards. Watch the move right there. He stays him out.
Wow.
Clearly, he was feeling pretty good.
And so did his teammates. They look at that. The big fella, T.J. Duckett, says, get out of my way, please. 12 yards, touchdown, 24-16. Under 2 minutes to go now. J.P. Lossman, the first-year starter. Buffalo trying to rally, but Rod Coleman with the hit. Patrick Kearney recovers for Atlanta. Bills have no timeouts left, and so Atlanta's defense seals the deal. They had lost 5 in a row on the road at the Falcons, but they win it 24-16. They had 400 yards of offense, Tom, and this looks like last year. Dunn 97 rushing, Duckett 75,
that's right.
Vick 64. Big day for McGahee, 140, but Lossman threw for only 7.
Well, and that's the thing. Lossman is now feeling his way into the quarterback position. He's learning to play. You're going to have some games like this, but once he picks it up, once he learns how to play the position, you'll be in good shape.
And so Atlanta bringing it. They've had some long road trips after that opening Monday night win, but they get the win. They're 2-1. Raiders, Eagles, an interesting ending. And the Saints on the road again against troubled Minnesota. Could the Vikes get off the mat? Visa Skycam takes you to Sunday Night Football. The undefeated G-Man taking on the 0-2 Lightning Bolts in San Diego. Following NFL Primetime, bottom of the hour. Surprising 0-2 start for Dante Culpepper and the Minnesota Vikings. 8 picks, 1 touchdown pass this season. But on the opening kickoff against New Orleans, the Vikings forced the turnover by Aaron Stecker, and Antoine Winfield recovers same way the Saints began the Monday night game with the Giants. And then right away, the Giants had scored Monday. 1-play scrimmage, Minnesota. Touchdown. Culpepper to Travis Taylor. 7-0 V-Men. Culpepper to Taylor again. That's a nice catch. And now it's a 17-0 Minnesota lead. You knew Dante Culpepper wouldn't be down for that long. And his top draft pick this year is Troy Williamson. Airing it. Oh, man, right on the money. 24-0. 3 TD passes first half. About it. Dante Culpepper.
I hear he's got it rolling.
Yes, you could see it. But even when the Saints scored, they did this. And, you just feel for them. It's essentially 4 straight games on the road there. A preseason, the closer was on the road, too. Saints down 24-6. That was a 2-point conversion. Miscue. But Deuce McAllister is going to score. They're not out of it. 24-16. Field goal Minnesota, 27-16. Aaron Brooks picked off by Antoine Winfield. That's nice. Brooks picked off twice. Jim Haslett and company finally get a, quote, home game next week in San Antonio when the Saints host Buffalo on Sunday. But for this one, the Vikings off the mat, 33-16. Waltzing Mawilde had 101 yards running for Minnesota, but 300 yards Culpepper.
Yeah, and Minnesota also had 38 carries for almost 150 yards, and I think the difference when we saw the ability of the quarterback to get a little bit relaxed in the pocket, that's the difference, or one of the main differences in the Culpepper that we saw today.
So each of those teams 1 and 2. Meanwhile, did someone mention this week that T.O. and Randy Moss were going head-to-head on the football field? Oh, by the way, the Philadelphia Eagles were hosting the Oakland Raiders, who played well in 2 games, but didn't have, not just quite well enough, didn't have anything to show for it. All the stars on the field, Philly, McNabb and Westbrook, but in the end, who would have guessed it would have come down to a gimpy kicker? Here's our prime cut. And we go to the link. Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, two of the most prolific receivers of this or any time. And here's the opening kickoff. David Akers, remember, he had the hamstring problem last week. Kicks off to start the game. The Eagles had a penalty called on him, but that's not all, so they get to re-kick. But he injures his right hamstring on the kick. He's going to give it another shot. It's the second opening kickoff. Oh, boy. And a short return from Oakland's Chris Carr, but do you believe another offsides Philadelphia? And so they kick again. And this time it's Mike Bartram, who we saw make an extra point last week. Actually, Bartram, we saw kick off last week, the tight end. And his kick goes out of bounds, so now Oakland really gets it in good position. And they took advantage. Kerry Collins to Lamont Jordan, the swing pass, 8 yards, 7-0. They ate it. Donovan McNabb threw 5 touchdown passes last week, but, you know, a sternum injury doesn't go...
Well, I mean, we've heard a little bit about a groin. We hear a little bit about the sternum. I think you add those things up that early on, taking Donovan a little while to get comfortable. Their ball gets tipped up in the air, intercepted by Warren Sapp. Then same overthrow of Brian Westbrook. Here he scrambles. L.J. Smith can't hold on to the ball. Intercepted Warren Sapp. You know, but he settled down. They warmed up Detmer. He finally got settled into the game.
He overthrows a wide-open L.J. Smith in the second quarter. He's obviously bothered, though, Tommy, but the Eagles down 7-0, hanging in. Now, bother no more. Early second quarter. Rolling out is McNabb. No! T.O. nailed by Charles Woodson. How about that?
You know, T.O. bounced right back up, though. He took the lick and he bounced right back up, paid the play.
And, of course, a little talking back and forth. Brian Westbrook was immense in this game. Look at him inside, outside, zip, zap, 18 yards. Eagles need the extra point, though. They're down 7-6. So here's who kicked an extra point last week. But Mark Simino, I mean, he hit his own guy in the helmet. And so Andy Reid thought about dressing 2 kickers for the game, which he didn't really want to do. And now we'll have to see how Akers comes out. So remember, questionable kicking. They're down 10-6. Could McNabb and company score touchdowns? Here's the out route to T.O. Gets near a first down. 2 plays later. How hard is this ball? 4-yard touchdown, 100th overall touchdown by T.O. It's 12-10. And now here's Akers. And Akers, it's not exactly Green Acres, but it's from
Hurting. Louisville.
But he makes it. Good job, David. 13-10. Fourth quarter, just over 4 minutes to go. Moss's turn. Kerry Collins, Randy Moss, into Eagle territory, inside the 40. Under 3 to go. First and 15, a 20-13 game. Collins to Doug Gabriel. Blows the horn in the end zone. Touchdown. We're tied at 20. Minute 14 to go. 3rd and 9 Philly. McNabb. Greg Lewis. First down. Can Akers muster enough if he's needed? 40 seconds to go. 3rd and 5. Owens over the middle. 17 yards. Moss. Uh-oh, they're getting close. 12 seconds to go. It's 23 yards. But Akers is not Akers. But yes, he is. No, he just gets it inside the left upright. Obviously in pain. The Eagles and Norv is going, we've been close to 3 really good teams. Really good teams.
Best 0-3 football team we've seen. Well, I know that sounds odd, but the Raiders have played solid football. They played some good football teams, and they just come up on the short end 3 times.
On the other end of the stick, the Eagles win it by the count of 23-20. McNabb ending up with 365 yards. Westbrook running and catching 208. But afterwards, talking the Eagles locker room about David Green Acres.
I think what he did today is he solidified the fact that being on one leg, that the team has the full confidence in him that he can make the kick from anywhere.
When we're out there, it's all one team, and we're trying to do the best we can and have each other's back and win the game. And I think we showed that today. That was a character win, in my opinion.
Well, character for him, and the Eagles had their hands full. But the Eagles have something. They have a different sort of player. We saw it last year in Brian Westbrook, and allows them to. We don't have any big power running, but we have a different sort of.
Well, first of all, David Akers in a lot of pain. He showed a lot of courage by coming out and doing what he did. The game starts off about Randy Moss and T.O., but I think as you watch the game progress, you couldn't help but see how valuable Brian Westbrook is to this football team. Maybe there is no back in the league. Very Marshall Faulk-like in what he does. You can line him up. I saw him at the split end, in the backfield, in the slot. He puts pressure on everybody on the field to do something different when he is out there. And defensively right now, he seems to me to be a guy who you really can't figure out what you want to do with him. Do you want to put a linebacker on him who he's going to beat every single time, or do you want to put a safety on him who he's going to run away from? It's just an odd matchup for anybody in this league right now.
And so Philadelphia wins back-to-back, although one easier than the other against the Bay Area teams. The Raiders scratching their head. Did we get a break in the schedule here? We're 0-3 when we return. On NFL Prime Time, the Browns and the Colts. Certainly the Colts would break out against Cleveland, or would we see their new-look defense excel again? Jags, Jets, two Marshall quarterbacks battling injured to the end. Now we go to one of the 2-0 teams, the Indianapolis Colts, against Romeo Crennel and the new-look Cleveland Browns. Hunter Smith is going to punt it for the Colts at home, and Dennis Northcutt, we know what he can do. He cuts north, then he cuts east, then he cuts west, and then he goes south. 82 yards, a compass return. But no, don't tell me there's a flag on the play. Block in the back, but Northcutt can still do this time.
Yes.
So there's still no score in the first. Edgerrin James a touchdown. The Colts have played two low-scoring games, un-Colt-like. And here's another one. Trent Dilfer wasn't sacked the first two games this year, but Dwight Freeney says, you haven't played me. Look at 93 from
Bloomfield, Connecticut.
There you go, Tommy, had 3 sacks.
I got mesmerized by the fact that he is so quick off the line of scrimmage, Boom.
Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison, throwing into triple coverage. Jalen McCutcheon makes the pick. Wait a minute. 7-3, that's it? In a Colts game? Dilfer, paying attention to the defense, lines up under guard. Joe Andrews, the one-time Patriot. And then Trent, then you got to go over here. Go over there. There's the center, Jeff Bain. Trent. You know what? He's and he laughs it off. Meanwhile, can't laugh off this.
Yeah, you just look at the speed of Dwight Freeney as he comes off the ball. It's just amazing. His first step makes him look like he's offsides almost every time, but he's not. He just gets a tremendous jump.
With the score 13-6 early fourth quarter, Peyton to Marvin Harrison. They did not get the touchdown number 100, but they passed our friends Jim Kelly and Andre Reed for the most yards quarterback-receiver tandem, 9,568 and counting. And the Colts win another low-scoring game, 13-6. Here's the news. They've given up just 16 points, Tom, in 3 games. As Tony Dungy says, we can learn how to win these type of games. We know we can win the shootout.
Yeah, and I think that they realized early on that they would have 3 tough football games coming out of the gate, that it wasn't going to be the high-scoring fest that we saw last year, and I think this will be good for them at the end of the year.
And, oh, by the way, good job defensively, Cleveland. You can see the strides they've made.
Absolutely.
You can see the stride all the new coaches have made. Now, the Jaguars to the Jets. And here we go. It's 3-0 in the first quarter. Byron Leftwich to Ernest Wilford makes it 10-0. Then, in the third quarter, 10-7 game, Chad Pennington drops back, hit by Paul Spicer. It's a fumble. The Jets recover. Next play, Pennington brought down again. It's a fumble. But he recovered the fumbles, the hits. He leaves the game with a shoulder injury. That's his surgically repaired shoulder. And Jay Fiedler would replace him. So down 10-7 third quarter. The Jets, meanwhile, John Abraham sacks Byron Leftwich. James Reed picks up the ball. First turnover of the season, Jags. It cost them.
Yeah, and Abraham here comes unblocked. And, you know, the quarterback is just helpless against that play. It's going to result in something bad happening.
Now it's at 20 watch this now, 2014. Fiedler completes it upfield, but he injures himself on the play. He impairs to jam his right shoulder. He's got to leave. Would it be the third quarterback, Brooks Bollinger? We'll see. Leftwich to Reggie Williams, but David Barrett strips him of the ball. Man, can anybody hold on to this thing? And he returns it to the Jags 21. Still fourth quarter, the Jets looking to go ahead. Down 20-17, Pennington to Wayne Corbett. Initially ruled a touchdown, but let's take a look.
Yeah, take another look. You can see he gets both feet down, but he's juggling the ball as he goes out the back of the end zone. It's no catch, incompletion.
And so they kick a field goal, 20-20 in overtime. Pennington back in the game, but picked off by Rasheed Mathis. But then Leftwich is intercepted. Then the Jags get the ball again. But watch this play. Jimmy Smith has been a great receiver for a long, long time. How does he get 1, 2, 3? And foot hits the pylon.
That's right.
What a great, Tommy, that's one of the best jobs down the sideline. Oh, by the way, it won the game that we've seen. Touchdown, 26-20. What a play from Leftwich to Jimmy Smith. And the game, Jags, they go to 2-1. The Jets, a head-scratching loss. Pennington strained right shoulder. Fiedler hurts his shoulder. They'll have to see what they come up with. They've got under 200 yards of offense. When we return, unbelievable game, Patriots at Pittsburgh. We'll show you all the highlights. And a great old rivalry renewed. The 49ers and Cowboys in San Francisco. Coming up on Sunday Night Football, LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers see if they can get off the mat with their first win. You remember him in college. Do you remember him in Waco, Texas? In high school, at University High School in Waco, he ran for 2,554 yards and 39 touchdowns as a senior from that 1 year in 1996.
Almost 40 TDs.
No wonder he's still pretty good now.
High School Flashback, brought to you by Nike. You are watching NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
And now the late games. Arizona at Seattle. Here come the Seahawks. Fired up. Cardinals lead. All they do is kick field goals. They lead 3-0. Sean Alexander beginning a big day for Alexander's ragtime marching band. 25-yard touchdown. 7-3. The Seahawks. Now Kurt Warner rolls out. He pulls his right groin. Is there right or left groin?
You need Pilates.
So you know what? This guy was a great coach. Chuck Knox.
Absolutely.
Honored. Congratulations, Coach Knox, a great coach with the Rams, but honored by Seattle. He's in the Ring of Honor. 17-9 Seahawks. Josh McCown, hit by Michael Boulware. Fumble, recovered by the Seahawks at the 1. And then Alexander from the 1, you know he's going to get it, 24-9. And then the third quarter, send in McCown. Look at the catch made by Anquan Bolden. One hand. They say he was only able to keep 1 foot in bounds. I think 1 hand, 1 foot, we should call it. Should equal in bounds. With the score 24-12, the Seahawks with the ball at the 48. Alexander with a spin. Whoop! Then backwards, then forwards. Look at him go. Woo! Through the secondary. Down to the 7-yard line. 45-yard gain. 3rd and goal at the 1. Alexander, his 4th touchdown of the game. And the Seahawks, man, you go 2-1 in that division. Well, you know what? So are the Rams. And you can take command. Arizona, once again, losing in the division. Hasselbeck with a productive game. The big story, Alexander, and neither Warner nor McCown could get anything going. The Seahawks
you talk about production for the Seattle Seahawks and the Arizona Cardinals under so much pressure. Their quarterbacks, no chance to be successful today.
And they're scoring field goals when other teams are scoring touchdowns. Not going to work. Cowboys, Niners. What a game this turned out to be. From the old school, the Cowboys and the Niners, who 7 times played in the postseason. And, well, they went back and forth so much that we'll have to show you that a little bit later. Wow. Speaking of teams that have played in the postseason in recent times, how about the AFC Championship game last year? That would be the New England Patriots and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only game Ben Roethlisberger has ever lost as a quarterback for the Steelers is to the Patriots. Here came the Patriots again, with Pittsburgh 2-0 and New England 1-1. And so in the first quarter, Tom Brady to Corey Dillon for a touchdown. It's 4 yards. The Patriots lead 7-0. Ben Roethlisberger to Hines Ward. It's a seam, and he's gone 85 yards.
Yeah, and the fact is, you saw Ben Roethlisberger, time to throw. You saw Hines Ward get behind the defense. That's an outstanding play. We didn't see a lot of plays like that against the Patriots today.
And then, here's the play for Hines Ward, longest catch of his career. And then the Patriots are already depleted in the secondary, but they don't have a player like this. And Rodney Harrison, left leg injury, carted off, would not return in obvious pain. I mean, Rodney's as tough as they come. Had to be carted off. And so now they lose Harrison and they're down 10-7 to the Patriots. Tom Brady to Kevin Falk. Falk gets a fumble inside the 10. Larry Foote gets it and foots his way out to a good return. Now Steelers. Roethlisberger and the Steelers in business early second. The quick strike to Antoine Randall L. And L can do everything. He can move, groove, shake, fake, but don't lateral it here. Pitch to Hines Ward. He wasn't looking for it. Eugene Wilson falls on it for the pass.
Yeah, it's just one of those plays. If you have a chance to rethink it, you're down in scoring territory, you're inside the red zone, you just want to hold on to the football.
That's left tackle Matt Light, the blindside tackle. Tommy hurts his right leg on the play, and he would be carted off. Their most important lineman, he's gone. So they're falling one by one. Still 10-7 Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger, incomplete. Now he's hurt. Would Tommy Maddox have to come in? He would not. Roethlisberger would gut it out. First and goal in the last minute of the half. Patriots. But Brady's pass tipped by Kimo Von Olhoffen, intercepted by Chris Hayes. 10-7 Steelers at the half. 13-10 Steelers fourth quarter. Corey Dillon. Again, the Patriots had tough sledding on the ground, but Dillon so tough on the tough yards. 7 yards, and the Patriots now lead it 17-13. They've gained a field goal, make it 20-13. 4th and 11. Roethlisberger incomplete to Quincy Morgan. But with 1:25 to go, flag.
Yeah, you take another look at it right there. You see the contact before the ball arrives. Put the ball on the 2 for the Steelers.
So the former Steelers chance gone with a pass interference. And now as a result, Roethlisberger, Hines Ward, 4 yards, touchdown. And with 1:21 to go, we're tied at 20 all. No way the Patriots can come back. Yeah, right. Brady to Kevin Falk. Such a valuable receiver out of the backfield. First down. 1:06 to go. Brady to the lesser names. Quote, lesser names. Patrick Pass for a huge game. And then Adam Vinatieri, 43 yards. Was there a question? I know he missed earlier in the game, but the game was on the line. Good. And the Patriots, they won there in January. They win here in September. The New England Patriots go into Pittsburgh and give Ben Roethlisberger his first ever regular season loss. The 16-game regular season winning streak, the record 18 New England.
Yes.
Snapped. And now the Patriots win it 23-20. Comment on this in a moment. Now we're on to the Cowboys and the 49ers. We think. Here we go. Julian Peterson, a guarantee to win against the Cowboys. He was kind of goaded into it. Drew Bledsoe. This is the running Drew Bledsoe. It's not Roger Staubach. It's Drew Bledsoe. He runs in, and the Niners lead is cut to 7-6. Jose Cortez, one-time Niner kicker, now Dallas kicker, no good. And Larry Allen, how about that? Come on.
Make the kick. I think that's what Larry Allen said. Make the kick.
So, meanwhile, the Niners have scored again. 14-6 Bledsoe. Picked off by Tony Parrish. The Niners look like a team under Mike Nolan. 28 yards. It's 21-6. The Cowboys have come back to make it 24-19, but again, Bledsoe picked off by Tony Parrish along the sideline. take another look. Big job by Parrish.
Yeah, ball bobbled right there and grabbed by Parrish, and the toes are down just before the ball goes out.
So now San Francisco third and 6 from the 13. To the chagrin of Bill Parcells, he's watching San Francisco operate. Tim Rattay, 2 steps, throws to Brandon Lloyd. He had 2 today. One was a bomb earlier in the game. 31-19 Niners. Cowboys have made it to 31-26. Then Bledsoe, 3.5 to go. Time. Throws it long to Terry Glenn. 44-yard gain. Glenn hangs on despite the hit by Mike Rumpf. 3 plays later. Bledsoe to Keyshawn Johnson. Turns it up for 14 yards. They go for 2. Make it 34-31. Minute to go. Rattay picked off by Dadwin. And the Cowboys survive the 49ers. They win it 34-31. Boy, the Niners had a play at the end of the first half where they kind of squandered a chance to go for a touchdown because they got a little nervous. They would have enjoyed having that play back again, and it came back to haunt them. Dallas wins at 34-31. San Francisco looks like a better team, but Dallas gets an important win after the Monday night loss. Now, let's go to the big game. Pittsburgh and New England. Well, how do they do it? Because they get it.
Well, disappointing loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but when you look at the defending world champions, they are absolutely amazing. You lose guys like Rodney Harrison and Matt Light during the course of this game. There are other losses over the course of the offseason, well documented, and as you watch them collect themselves, and actually by the end of the game, I thought that they were actually playing better than they played at the beginning of the game. They looked rather sloppy through the first quarter, part of the second quarter. Once they pull it together, you get the pick that's tipped down in the red zone.
Yep.
Those things don't happen to them. They happen today. They were able to regroup. It seems as if no matter who they slot in, they get performance after performance that's championship quality.
And Tom Brady is like a coach out there now.
And it's a tribute to the coach. It's a tribute to Bill Belichick.
Absolutely. 31 of 41 Brady. They just get it. They seem to slow things down when the pace is faster for everybody else. Speaking of which, game ball is coming up next.
NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite. Great tasting, less filling. Miller, good call. And in part by Chevy, the new Chevrolets, an American Revolution.
Boomer, my game ball is going to go to Zach Thomas, and listen to these numbers. 17 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble. He also had 1 pass deflected. I guess he is back on track for the Miami Dolphins.
Absolutely. He never got off track. The team just did for a year. Meanwhile, the rookie, Cadillac Williams, has more yards in his first 3 games as a rookie than anyone in the history rushing in the NFL, breaking the mark of the great horse, Alan Amici, set back in 1955. Speaking of marks, okay, by the way, back to New England. They still haven't lost 2 in a row since 2002.
That's pretty good.
Okay, they hadn't been an underdog in 2 years, and they won't be for a while yet. And Tom Brady, and now has 50 wins in 65 games. Only a guy you admire, actually, Ken Stabler, won 50 games in less time. If it's about winning, the Patriots do that. They get it, and they
get it.
That's why they're the champs. Tom Jackson, I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Primetime.